Okay.
That's cool. Hello, Jeff and Annette and everyone else watching live. Kicking the show off late. We were going to have a guest tonight, but the dude is like hella super busy and isn't going to be able to make the show tonight. So we're just winging it with the three of us.
He will be on the show.
He will.
Eventually. And we're all excited about it, and we totally understand. So, and I'm sorry for those of you that were like, Wednesday, I'm gonna stay up because I need to see this one thing live as it's happening. We love you guys.
All right, I'm gonna change the opening to. We're gonna go with this one instead. We'll save Madeline for later.
You know, as I was listening to podcast featuring our other guest that was going to be on tonight, it was funny. There was this one podcast, and it seemed like he and this other person were like, they were going back and forth, like seeing who could be the biggest name dropper. Like, it was really weird. Oh yeah, I know him. No, I know her. She's great. Oh, she's my best friend. Oh, I know him.
And they kept laughing like the Count.
All right. One upper.
Okay, so I got that. I think we're ready. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right.
I am always ready. I have been ready since first call.
Cheers.
Roll.
Cheers.
Oh, Rusty.
I might need a second one of those beers.
Your kindness is an inspiration to us all. I'll say, I'm going to go start a paper route right now.
Here we go. Oops. No. Are we recording here? We are. All right, here we go.
My name's Ryan Smith. I'm the owner of forkandsaber.com, and this is the We Like Drinking podcast, where you never drink alone.
At the sound of the tone, the official We Like Drinking time will be 5 o'clock. Commence consumption.
Thank you for joining us for the award-winning We Like Drinking podcast, episode 209. In this episode, we'll be discussing Patreon love, contemplating Instapot winemaking, and we're going to have an honest debate about who is the best field goal kicker on the podcast. It's me. So crack open your beers, uncork that wine, and let's get drinking. All right, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Are you guys all set for this chaos tonight?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sticky from Imperial Stout. So yeah, let's do it.
John's all sticky. Let's go. Let's wrap it up.
Yep. And
never drink alone. Okay, bye.
We may as well, since half our listeners just said, that's the end of the show for me. I'm done.
I think that's worse than just saying moist. Moist.
And they're with the rest of them. So cheers to the three people that are left listening to the show. And welcome to Happy episode, what?
209.
Happy hour 209 of the only somehow two-time award-winning topical beer and wine education podcast focusing on sticky. Moist stickiness.
There's some Australian that's like, dessert wine.
So if you like what you're hearing so far, folks, consider leaving us a review by visiting iTunes and leaving us a big fat 5-star review. Let us know what you think about the show. We would definitely appreciate it. But before we get any further, let's find out who we're drinking with tonight. We've got our prolific wine blogger, Jeff Solomon.
I think we need to look up the term prolific.
We've got our beer brewer, John Ruyak.
I'm here. Yes, I am.
And I am your host, Jeff Eccles. Now, last week, guys, I got to say, last week's episode was a lot of fun. Have you guys listened to it yet?
Yeah.
Yes, it was good, right?
Very entertaining. I even got messages from people talking about how much they like the show, particularly you, Jeff Solomon. You were a hit of last week's show, I must say.
I was. I don't even remember what I said.
Nothing. I didn't think anything, but the people liked it.
Well, thanks, people. I'm a people person, so
So tonight's show may be a bit more chaotic. Like I said, we had a guest planned. They ran into some complications, weren't able to make it, so we're just free rolling this thing tonight. Some of you might get a little indication of what, if you were to become a Patreon of the show, what an after party may feel like.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've got my backup.
Yeah, I know. I've got an entire refrigerator full of alcohol.
Hey, man, I'll be emptying my bladder all night long.
Oh, are you still working on the bladder there, John?
Still working on the La Vieille Ferme, which I have in the last 7 days. I looked it up and I found out that La Vieille Ferme means the old farm. Who'd have thought firm and farm were the
same thing? I like old rooster better. Strong
rooster was much better name.
Like firm, like fit. But yeah, I'm just getting back into this box of rosé from the south of France, and I gotta say, it's holding up. Just like any 2-year-old. How old is this rosé? It's holding up like any rosacea. It's honestly, it's delicious. And Kara, as much as she kind of like winced when I brought that box in, she's been enjoying it. 5 glasses a night, and I'm still only halfway through. It's great.
You make me laugh. I'm gonna pop my stitches.
Oh. On that, John, what are you drinking?
I've got a Goose Island Bourbon County brand stout, 2018.
Winner. John's drinking for dinner.
Unicorn beer. That's a unicorn, right?
It's got a goose on it. It kind of looks like a unicorn with feathers. What?
Wait, people wait in line for days, and then you were like, I just walked into the store and bought one.
Yeah, it was that easy. I don't know what the hullabaloo's about.
So what can you tell us about that one? Why is it such a sought after brew?
Well, okay, so I didn't really notice until just a few moments ago when I looked at the ABV on this. It's 15.2. Holy shit.
Whoa.
It's a limited release. They vintage date it. So it's, they do also leave a lot of yeast in the beer, so it conditions, although this is kind of new, so I don't see a lot of flocculation on the bottom of the, people watch and they know I'm famous for looking down the barrel of bottles, but there's not a lot of yeast flocculation out of this just yet, but I would imagine it must be suspended in the beer. It would almost have to be something that's this thick and viscous. It is aged in bourbon barrels that they source from. It doesn't say in particular where they get their bourbon barrels from, but anyway, the neck shows, it's got intense aromas of charred oak, vanilla, caramel, and smoke. I don't know about the smoke, but the caramel and the vanilla in this are really, really nice. Kind of overtakes the the dark fruit aspects of most imperial stouts, and people have listened before. I'm not a huge fan of barrel aged beers, but this one's well done. I'm not complaining whatsoever.
Nice.
Let me ask you this, because honestly, it's like I'm sure Goose Island has connections, but at the end of the day, they're working with whatever barrels they get their hands on. and I'm wondering, like, do they blend barrels?
I don't know. We've talked about this before. Boulevard in Kansas City makes an imperial stout they mix like 40% barrel aged beer with 60% non-barrel aged imperial stout, and I like the level of barrel aging on that to my palate a lot. I don't know. I'm thinking this is 100% barrel aged beer, but I don't have. We have to get, what was her name that we had on the show? Was it Allie way back at the beginning who went to go work for Goose Island? So maybe we get her back on the show and get some answers for us. But I'm digging this. So
That's
there's
awesome.
not a lot of that, not a lot of the currant and raisiny or type of notes you get in an imperial stout that's really overtaken by the barrel aging. But yeah, I'm digging it.
I'm so sorry.
It was $18 for this bottle of beer, by the way. I got
how
it before
much?
Christmas, $18.
Dang.
18.
1.8. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if there are some hardcore bourbon barrel aged stout drinkers that are so tuned in that they're like, oh yes, this came from a barrel that was a high rye blend. Like I wonder if those are notes that people pick up, like, oh, this was more, it all has to be at least 51% corn, but some people are like, oh, this is corn dominant or things like that. I wonder if that's where we might be going with those barrel aged
that
beers.
would be really tough. I mean, there's the char, and then there's the sugars in the bourbon and all that other stuff that adds all these extra notes to this. What I would be interested in finding out, because in winemaking you can only use a barrel so many times. I'm not. Did we talk about that with our gentleman from Four Roses about how many times they reuse the barrels? But I wonder how many times they plan to reuse these barrels for beer.
Isn't it part of being bourbon? It has to be new oak.
Well, I think what John's asking is, once the brewers, how many times they use a bourbon barrel. And okay. I thought it was only like once. I thought they use it once and then we're done with it.
I mean, there are fermenters, Flanders Red in Belgium, those types of Rodenbach, Grand Cru, those places that make Flanders Red ales, they reuse the fermenters over and over and over again because they have some lactobacillus residing in the wood, and they reuse those every year. But that's not specifically used to age the beer. That's used to ferment the beer.
Right.
So some of those fermenters are decades old.
I think I like, one of the things I really enjoy about our show is that we're going to have a pretty serious wine person on tonight, and Jeff's pouring a boxed rosé. John brings a bourbon barrel aged imperial stout, and I bring a bourbon. At least John's is a unicorn. I bring one based on a TV show. But I am drinking the Game of Thrones. That I may have talked about it. I went to a white elephant party, and I got the 4-pack of the Game of Thrones beer set. I should be drinking out of their glass, but this is from the Omegang Brewing out of Cooperstown, New York. This is the King in the North. So this is a bourbon barrel aged imperial stout as well, rocking in at 11%, John Riek, and it is freaking delicious.
Is it good? Well, Omegang's a great brewery, so I'm not surprised.
It is so good on a freezing cold winter night.
I kind of want one of those. It was like, dude, it was like 40 something this morning.
The snow has just started to melt here in Albuquerque.
I think it was 26 when I got up this morning. All right.
All right. Way to be the one upper,
I
or
got
the one
up there,
downer.
I'm the one down. All right. Yeah, folks, this is the kind of show it's going to be. This is what happens when we get all discombobulated. So let's brainiac it up a little bit with wine, beer, or pop culture reference. I gotta fit that rolling on.
You gotta say malt beer like Gimli from Gang of Thrones.
Beer.
Malt beer.
Okay, so this, what we do, folks. This is where I give these guys a term, and they try to tell me if it's a wine something or other, a beer something or other, or a pop culture reference. I'm not sure why I'm doing this with my hands, but deal with it. All right, the term this week is Beaucastel. So is Beaucastel a wine, a beer, or a pop culture reference? John Ruyak, you get to start it off this week.
I really would like for you to spell that for us, please.
Beaucastel.
I thought the C might have been a K, so I was
curious about that. And it is a C. It's not like when Oscar Blues when I got my names all wrong when I was trying to say how to spell it.
That was wonderful.
It was awesome. Beaucastel.
Beaucastel. Oh, beer. This I've seen the word before.
You most likely have.
Yep. It might have been on a map. It might have been in a liquor store.
It may have been.
It may be even in a magazine because it could be a pop culture reference.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to go with pop culture reference because you just never go with pop culture references. So,
except for the last time I did one.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
You know what? I think this is a wine.
Okay.
I think I'm going to say it's a French Gamay.
Oh, nice. Interesting call. All right. Jeff Solomon.
Well, this is kind of fun because I'm drinking some La Vieille Ferme, which means old farm. Non-vintage rosé wine from a box that was packaged in 2017. And this juice is delicious. And of course it is, because the makers of La Vieille Ferme, which means the old farm.
Ferme. I love how you say that.
That's the Perrine family, which also owns Tablas Creek in Paso Robles, which is widely regarded in the Central Coast and really in all of California for really, bringing a lot of awesome Rhone varieties to the forefront, because the Perrine family is probably most well known as being a dominant wine family in the south of France and really in the southern Rhone valley of France, where they own a little estate called Chateau de Beaucastel, which is in the Châteauneuf-du-Pape region of the Rhone Valley. I believe theirs is made of like 13 different varieties, but it's probably Grenache dominant. Grenache, Cinsault, Cunoise,
okay,
stuff like that.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Damn, Solomon.
It's a wine, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, you nailed it. I mean, that's exactly right. It is.
Do you want me to show off in front of our guest that was going to be here?
It is Chateau Beaucastel CDP. Uses all 13 grapes for the style with a higher proportion of Mourvèdre.
Fucking A. I can never be satisfied. Even when I win, I lose.
Excellent job, Jeff Solomon, with Beaucastel.
Don't I get like a half a point for saying it was a French wine?
Yes, John. Yes, John.
You get 2 points for that.
Okay. Okay. So I got a quick little announcement I would like to make specifically to my listeners in Colorado, possibly even in Colorado Springs, that are listening to it right when the show comes out. I'm getting very definitive in who I'm speaking to. This Sunday, which will be January 13th, at a restaurant here in Colorado Springs called 4 by Brother Luck. You may remember Brother Luck from Top Chef season 15 if you are a fan of the show. They are putting on a fantastic wine dinner. There's going to be 8 wines, 6 Pinots from 6 different winemakers. Brother Luck is going to be cooking for the dinner. You should check this out if you're in the area. I was really hoping to see some folks there. $100 per person, and you can call 719-434-2741 or check the We Like Drinking website out to see more about it. And if you're going, let me know. I would love to see you there with Brother Luck. Again, that's 719-434-2741.
I'm not sure who this Brother Love guy is, but
Brother Luck.
I know I'm being silly here, but $100 for a prefixed meal from a really well-renowned chef and 6 peens, you said?
6 peens from 6 different winemakers plus 2 other mystery wines.
Dude,
That's a bargain.
I think it's still a bargain if you fly to Colorado to go to that. That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. If you follow Top Chef at all, and you know their extra series like the where you can get yourself back on the show. Brother Luck, he got knocked out of the competition, and then he went through like every week of knocking people out until he got to the finals to like get to the finals, and he lost in that one. It was pretty hardcore, but the guy got some
awesome.
mad skills. So this is going to be I think it's a 7-course meal as well that goes on top of it. So yeah, it's like no joke.
Is he a Colorado Springs native? Is that why?
No, he's from down south.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, I guess you're really in luck.
I am in luck. I should take my brother with me to the dinner. We're just going to let that one sit there in silence for a moment. All right. With that, let's get to this. Booze news. We discussed interesting, noteworthy, or like I really should get rid of that because really this has just become the freaking carnival hour for
what have we been noteworthy in the last 8 or 9 months?
We just like to giggle. So
there's plenty of stupid stuff out there. Why shouldn't we take advantage of it?
Exactly. Jeff Solomon.
Oh man. What am I talking about first? The wine?
Let's start with the wine first.
Okay. So a funny thing happened. You know how like Facebook reads your mind and all that shit? Like, you know, that shit's happening.
Yes.
I remember back in February, there was kind of like a lot of viral stuff going around about, you know, making wine in Instapots, you know, and I kind of like, it was as if I was meditating. Like I acknowledged that was a thing, and then I let it pass. And then last week, my wife says to me, while, you know, she said she was watching Real Housewives, but she was still looking at her phone too. And she goes, "Hey, honey, you can make wine in our Instapot." And I go, "I think I remember something about that, but you know, like meditation, I will acknowledge this and let this pass. And then the very next day, I start seeing just a buttload of articles about making wine in your Instapot. I do have an Instapot, by the way, but I shall not defile it, right? But let me talk to you about this.
Can I ask you something about the Instapot?
Yeah.
Isn't it essentially just a pressure cooker?
It's a pressure cooker, but it's also a crock pot.
Okay.
What? Aren't those both?
It has
same
very, very specific settings like more or less.
Okay.
I want chicken, but I want a little bit less.
All right. Carry on.
A bit a minus instead of a plus on my chicken. That's basically no. The Instapot's fine. It's a versatile pressure cooker, and no joke, the Instapot itself, it's a perfectly fine versatile gift. Like, throw away your weird old clanky pressure cooker that's probably going to blow up in your face one day. Get an Instapot. Like, honestly, I'm a big fan of that. Right?
Okay.
So I think it was Quarty.com was talking about it, but any sort of clickbaity site was talking about it. But the headline really struck me. It said, "Please don't offer me the wine you made from grape juice in your Instant Pot." And it kind of harkened back to how in February, this guy named David Murphy on the website foodnservice.com, he had actually gone through the process of, I wouldn't say perfecting, I would say just he made up a recipe for how to make wine in your Instant Pot. What was interesting in the Quarty, is it Quarty or Quartly.com?
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Who gives a fuck about sources? But they were mentioning how in Google Trends over the last couple of months, searches for Instant Pot wine have overtaken home winemaking. So
who knew Welch's and Fleischmann's yeast would be doing so well?
I will say this. There's a part of me that says maybe when people are searching Instant Pot wine, they're actually like thinking about like putting pot in their wine. So there's a possibility that that's happening too. Because if you were high, you might get that confused. But so anyways, this guy, David Murphy, he develops this recipe. So here are the ingredients. 164-ounce plastic jug of Welch's grape juice. 1 cup of sugar, granulated.
Oh, Jesus.
A funnel. Half a packet of Lalvin red wine yeast. You know I'm a big fan of Lalvin.
Yeah.
An Instant Pot with a yogurt setting.
Is that more yogurt or less yogurt?
And clear packing tape. So here's what you do. You empty a cup of your Welch's grape juice. Just pour it into a measuring cup. And then in the empty space in your jug, add a cup of sugar. Put the cap on and shake that shit. Add half a packet of that yeast. Shake that shit some more. Then you pour it.
Is that what it says in the instructions?
It doesn't say shake that shit some more, but I'm sorry. You know what I do with recipes is I read them once and then I just put my own little like stees on it, like any good chef, right?
Yeah.
So then
it.
you empty that concoction into your Instant Pot, and remember that 1 cup of grape juice that you poured out to begin with?
Yeah.
You put that in your Instant Pot too.
Okay. All right. Do you shake that shit up? Do you swivel?
Now that it's in the Instant Pot, and David Murphy did want to remind you, don't forget to put the fucking inner lining on your Instant Pot in there before you put the grape juice in, or you'll just fry the whole system.
That's a smart move.
Yeah, okay. You put the lid on
Okay.
with the vent open.
Makes sense.
You put it on the yogurt setting, low or less,
Less.
for 48 hours.
Okay.
And I believe he was saying that you can only set it for like 24 hours at a time. But even Instant Pot is like, are you sure about this?
More Instant Pot. More. I
So,
want more hours.
so then what you do
Okay.
is you start with the vent open.
Yeah.
And then every 6 to 8 hours, you alternate. Close it for 6 to 8 hours, and then open it for 6 to 8 hours. Close it, and then open it. 48 hours later, because your grape juice and an extra cup of sugar and that yeast have been sitting in 80 degrees in that closed system that allows pressure to get out. 48 hours later, you take that concoction, you pour it back into your Welch's grape juice bottle. I hope you didn't recycle that shit already.
Yes. I was really hoping this would make it back into the plastic bottle.
You put the lid on halfway.
Okay.
And I know you're wondering about the packing tape. Put the packing tape over the top so the shit stays on top. But so it can be vented so the carbon dioxide can get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
He says you should probably drink it about, 30 days later. But I've been playing around, and even 8 days is sufficient. And I think he was quoted as saying that it tastes better than $2 Chuck, he says. I doubt that, by the way.
Serious. And
if
you're listening,
I'm sorry.
So if you're listening to this and you're thinking about doing this,
no. If I'm gonna say, if you're listening to this and you're thinking we're being all wine snobby for our attitude towards this so far, stop listening to the fucking show.
Yeah. And no joke, like I there's something to be said about $2 Chuck. Like, if you really want to make that comparison, you're wrong. You're just fucking wrong to think that, like, I would rather buy $2 Chuck. I believe it's cheaper than what you'd be doing there, and it will taste better. But anyways, they had mentioned in this article that on Dallas Morning News, master sommelier James Tidwell tasted some wine that was produced in what I will say is the method instanal, and he had some tasting notes. He said, there was a nice red color, and it was very grapey. He did say it seems like there's some alcohol in there, so you did that. I guess my question is,
one.
I have several questions, but I think it's for the panel, but it's also for our listeners and everybody in the tavern. I think we could get this discussion going. If you own an Instapot, have you tried this or will you try this? Just to like say that you've done it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just wondering, and then I guess the other thing is there a way to make a version of this that you might find more palatable? Like for somebody like me that I grow grapes in my backyard, vitis vinifera, like actual wine grapes. And there's this part of me that's like, why don't I just throw some in there just for shits and giggles? I will say if you're drinking it that quickly, even if it doesn't look bubbly, there's gonna be some extra carbonic acid in there. It's gonna be very zippy, kind of like a session wine I made a few years back. So that's just something to think about. If you're an acid head, that might not be a bad idea. And maybe this is something that you might be more comfortable doing with like an underripe white wine. I think would be kind of nice, refreshing.
They do make white Welch's too, so you could.
They
have
do,
a
but
red and a white.
it's gonna be foxy. You know what I mean?
I
So
mean,
you
I
could-
mean, either of these are none of these are going to be viniferous. So I imagine there's going to be some foxiness in all of it. But
He did say the Master Psalm said while it was foxy, it wasn't horsey.
yeah, okay.
Well, there you go. Could you remove some of the foxiness if you put it in an air fryer?
I'm wondering, like, what does it take for a wine to be? You know, we talk about foxy and horsey. Like, what does it take for a wine to be pony?
Or berry.
I taste berries all the time. That's called a Napa Cab.
Like, I would not try. I would not try and make this.
I
Woofs.
see people injuring themselves.
I just have no desire. I mean, and honestly, what they're probably more getting out of it, I would call more of like a wine cooler probably than wine. Because I imagine that's going to be really sweet. Would be my guess.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There's this part of me that was like, dude, why are you adding sugar? But then I was thinking about, like, you know, freshly pressed grapes are way more sweet than you might actually envision it. And so on some level it makes sense that grape juice is actually pretty watered down. As sweet as, like, I do not like drinking grape juice. It's way too sweet for me, but it's way more watered down than you know, what you would actually get. So I think that kind of makes sense. I'd be interested to see, like, what kind of alcohol you're actually getting out of that, like, percentage wise.
In hearing that, because
it's not going to complete, like, its secondary fermentation. Like, it's not going to go fully dry, even if it had the ability to. So my guess is
if you took long enough.
But like 30 days, if they're saying, like, drink it in 30 days,
you need to let it to go 60. I mean, you know, there's the whole aerobic and anaerobic metabolism of sugar by yeast and all that other stuff. So it would probably finish, but it's not going to be bone dry.
Would you make beer in an Instant Pot?
No,
like just for fun, like, because I think that it's possible to at least make a beer that has more integrity in an Instant Pot than you could a wine.
Right, but you'd have to use all malt extract. You couldn't.
People do that anyways. I guess what I'm saying is, like, you know, compared to like a Mr. Beer,
But you have to boil the hops to extract the flavoring and isomerize the alpha acids into bittering compounds. So there's a
saute setting. You can brown your chicken before you do it.
That's the more setting.
Man, I was going to say something about this, but now I don't remember what it was.
You were going to say you're kind of into it now.
No,
drink what you like.
I like Welch's grape juice. I don't want to make wine out of it.
I mean, here's what I will say. Kudos to David for working the system out. I mean, he probably put a lot of effort into coming up with his formula, you know, especially with the 6 hours on, 6 hours off. You know, what did he blow out?
Yeah, it's like he's got a newborn baby. Like, he's waking up in the middle of the night, like, again,
flip the valve.
I may as well just watch San Andreas starring The Rock. I'm not going back to bed after this.
But I mean, kudos to the guy for figuring this out. I mean, I think it's pretty industrious. I think it's pretty cool that he did it. Good for him. I don't want to repeat it.
I didn't even know my Instant Pot had a yogurt setting. I was like, what? Who the hell makes yogurt in this?
Okay, so listeners, if any of you have made a wine in Instapot, we totally want to hear about it. We really do. Jeff, are you going to do it?
I mean, I guess I kind of have to, right? This is kind of what this show is. It's. We should change the name to I Double Dog Dare Ya.
Drinking edition.
I don't want a bottle of that in the mail. I don't need a bottle of olive oil.
It's coming in a mason jar.
No, it's got to come in. You need to go pick up those kids juice bottles that have the pop top on it.
Oh yeah.
It's got to come in one of those, or the ones with the plastic animal face on it. That's what you got to ship it in.
You know what I'll do? I'll mix it with some Jello. It'll be like a Jello shot. I think it would be better as a 9% Jello shot. I think is what everybody really wants.
All right.
You can burn my house, steal my car, drink Instapot wine from an old fruit jar.
Let's move on from that. Let's talk about some football, Jeff Sullivan.
I thought we were done with this. We're never done. We're never fucking done with football. It's a year-round sport. All right. From the Chicago.
Let me just say hi to Mike in Chicago before we kick this one off. Hi, Mike.
Mike Dick is listening to the show.
Yes, he's a big fan.
So from the Chicago Tribune, I believe of Tuesday of this week, the headline is, in the wake of the Bears' loss, Goose Island offers beer for a year to anyone who can kick a 43-yard field goal. And this is in reference to the Bears had a pretty rough loss last week to the Eagles in the wild card round of the playoffs. I believe at one point they were up by, was it 9 or something going into the fourth?
I think they're up by 54.
Up by 54 going into overtime, and somehow they blew it. They let the Eagles come back. They let Nick Foles. Fucking Nick Foles is going to have this career off of 5 good games. It's the greatest thing ever, right? But Nick Foles leads the Eagles back. Chicago, one of the best defenses in the league, just gives this thing up, and somehow, by some sort of miracle, they have the ball in the waning seconds of the game, and the kicker, Cody Parkey, comes in to kick a 43-yard field goal. What's interesting about Cody Parkey is that apparently he's missed a lot of field goals this year, and it seems like a lot of them tend to bounce off of the uprights. Jeff Eccles says 4
on
this
the
year.
Season. He has put off the uprights, 10 that he had missed on the season,
which is pretty insane. It's really difficult to if your goal was to actually hit an upright. I don't think anybody could do that, right? And sure enough, he goes to kick this 43-yard field goal to win the game for the Bears and continue their great run. They've had a great season, and the Bears are going to be great for the next couple of years on the back of Trubisky and my boy Cohen. He and I celebrate Hanukkah together. It's awesome. So, anyways, Cody Parkey doesn't bounce it off of just one.
No. Hold on.
He drilled the uprights.
He drills it. He drills it right down the center. But wait, Philadelphia called a timeout. Bring it back again.
So after being iced, he goes to kick this thing again. And apparently, if you watch it in slow-mo, it looks like one of the Eagles did tip the ball.
Yes, with their middle finger.
With just one little finger. But honestly, if a piece of tobacco is enough to get a baseball to curve way more than it's supposed to, envision that over 43 yards. Parkey doesn't just hit the upright. but it also bounces off of the crossbar back into the field of play. He's deflated. The Bears are deflated. Eagles win. And I'm sorry, like I love the 49ers. And I think the Eagles are great. But I can't stand Philadelphia Eagles fans. Like they're the biggest, like front-running, freeloading, fair weather fans of all time. They all put on their like stupid green parkas, like only when they start to dig deep into the playoffs. They all think Nick Foles is amazing, which is what shows you how dumb they are. But anyways, this is about the Bears and their loss, and it's about Cody Parkey. And with as much shit as Cody Parkey is getting, the reality is the whole team lost that game. And even though he's missed some kicks, it's like, you know, your year-long like missing kicks, that's something to be considered for your future career. But that one particular kick, you know, he misses it, and he should have made it like 10 times out of 11. But really, it's the Bears that lost that game. The fucking Bears lost that game. So any of you that's still blaming the kicker, F you. Don't listen to our show.
And let's say the kicker scored 9 points in that game. The rest of the offense scored 6 points.
Yeah. So F you. F all of you.
Let's get to the fucking point, Jeff Saw.
Okay. So the point is, Goose Island steps up and they say, you know what? F all of you. You can't kick a 43-yard field goal. We're going to set one up in the middle of the street. And this Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, if you're subscribing to this podcast and you're listening on Friday, you have 24 hours to get to Chicago. If you're a patron, you're listening earlier. You have 48 hours to get to Chicago. To attempt to kick a 43-yard field goal on a makeshift goalpost, if you make it, you get beer for a year, a case of Goose Island beer every single week for 52 weeks for the whole GD year. They will not give you the Bourbon County Stout.
Bourbon barrel aged not included.
But that's pretty sweet. And how fun of an event is that going to be?
I think Scott Norwood's going to show up.
That's the thing. You're just going to get all these like college players.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, I'll go kick 43 yards.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
I texted you guys. My oldest played Pop Warner back in Maryland. At the end of a practice one night, they have, in Pop Warner, he was like 12, so it's a smaller football. It's not an NFL size football, but they had a tee there, and I kicked a 35-yarder. I just set it up on the tee, and I hit it
hard.
I hit it from 35 yards, and I'm like, holy shit, let's try this again. I tried 4 more times, and not even close. Short, wide right, wide left, bouncing it on the ground. It's insanely difficult to kick a football,
and that's
far and accurately.
And that's without 11 grown-ass super freaks trying to kill you.
Exactly.
And 70,000 people screaming at you. Okay. Let me ask you this. How do the 3 of us take a blown show and still blow an hour out of the water? Like,
we've had a lot of practice.
Yeah. I've switched to the Mother of Dragons, guys.
Oh, there you go.
This is a smoked porter and Creek ale blend.
Oh,
so it's a little sour, right? It's going to be like sour cherries.
Cherries in there.
Tons of cherries. Tons.
Kind of jelly, bro. I'm jelly. I'm still drinking this Bowcastle, this old Bowcastle in a box.
I've got my Boda brick still sitting on the counter over here somewhere. So
it's delicious. It's great.
The Malbec's taken a little bit of a dent over the last week.
All right. Anything else on the kicker, guys?
I did want to ask. So Ruyak says one time he sunk a 35-yarder. So that means that you set it up on the 25-yard line, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. I think I could probably sink a 35-yarder. I think I could. Yeah.
Go try it. Go try it, dude.
I feel like one time I sunk a 20.
Hold on, because John, that's great that you did a 35-yarder, but you did it with a peewee ball. I mean, it's basically a soccer ball that you made that with. So bravo. But do you think you could do it with a real football?
Oh, fuck no. They weigh twice as much.
No. Jeff Solomon, no, you could not.
I could sink a 35-yarder, yeah.
You could beat me in a beer mile before you could hit a 35-yard field goal with a regulation NFL football.
Well, I have, and I will.
You have not.
I did produce the video. I beat you.
To the vomitorium you did.
Okay. The people that like the shows because it's like they're hanging out with some people, their friends drinking. This is gonna be one of their favorite episodes. Okay. All right. Maybe I could make a 20-yarder. Maybe
it's that. Maybe we all go out. How about once a week we each go out to a football field and just start like put it on the goal line. And just start with a 10-yarder and let's see who can sink one of those. Actually, I think the 10-yarder might be the most difficult because you got to get it up.
You got to sandwich it.
But let's get some video evidence and we'll just kind of incrementally as we go through.
I've got better things to do with my time.
I think I could max out at 36.
Look, man, John, this is what we do. Solomon's kicking for the 49ers. I'm kicking for the Broncos. I guess you're kicking for the Cardinals.
What? The Bills need a new kicker. Hauschka's for shit.
I'm just thinking of who's close to who.
Your plant leg is on the ice. You're not making it.
All right. Okay. Moving on. Let's do this. That is now my favorite sound bumper to play because that means we have a new Patreon, guys.
Dude,
that's awesome. Everybody is coming out of the woodwork to throw 4 quarters at us. I think that's more what they want to do is try to
get the hell out of my life.
So we have Brian J has joined us as a $1 contributor. He has joined up with the Patreon. He has his RSS feed to get the show early and get the
after party. Sorry, I totally ruined your steez. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's all good.
After party.
With the best soundtrack that we lay down comes to the after party. The bass line is always surprised. So welcome, Brian. Looking forward to all of our recent Patreons. We have 3 of them now. I just got notified that our latest sticker shipment is on the way, so you will be getting your envelope from us soon.
And hey, I do just want to say this. I live in the greater San Francisco Bay Area, and as you're moving into like the East Bay and the North Bay, there's a whole lot of toll bridges, right? And I think it was $5. They're moved up to $6 now in the new year. So thanks a lot, Obama. Now it's $6 to cross the bridge.
If you show them a We Like Drinking sticker, do you get through for free?
Well, yes. Just put it on your window and then the fast track reads it. But here's what I like to do, right? So the one I take the most often is if I want to get up to like Sacramento, I might go over the Martinez Benicia Bridge, and as I cross the Benicia Bridge, I give them my $5. I talk to the toll folks, and everything's awesome. coming southbound, you don't have to pay a toll. But you know what I do anyways? I just wad up a $5 bill and I chuck it out of my window and I say, "Here, take your goddamn money." And what I'm saying is, if I could do that just because it's fun to do, and all you freeloaders out there are just sitting there freeloading, throw your goddamn money at us. Let's see if you can hit this smile.
I think with that last GD, I think we crossed the line. I'm gonna have to mark this episode as explicit.
Ah, shit.
So fuck it up now.
So I guess what I'm saying is your next iTunes review needs to be, "Here's your goddamn money." That's what you write.
And we would love it. We would love the help. We truly need to keep the show going. Visit welikedrinking.com/pledge to find out how you can give us $1. That's all we're asking for, or more. You know, guys. I gotta say, our good friend Stub, a $10 patron.
Whoa.
Yeah. He has crossed the 3-month barrier. I got the email out to him. He gets to pick the panel member, and he gets to pick the drink.
Ah, shit.
It's coming.
I suppose I should go apologize to him now.
My bet is he's going after the one person that didn't go on his show.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That's what he's going to go after. But Stub, I should warn you that you'll give John something and he'll bastardize it to no end and just kind of make up his own thing and say, that's good enough.
Well, dude, I drank that cherry amaretto porter crap in Costa Rica.
Anyways, I just want to say to Patreon and honestly prolific vlogger Jason Stubblefield, like, I love the Cowboys. I think they're great. Let's go Cowboys. How about them Cowboys?
Stub, do what you gotta do, brother. Okay. Well, if we're all buttering up to Stub so he doesn't hurt us with alcohol, it must be.
Last call.
Last call. Time to clean house and lock the doors. Folks, that's right. It's a time where you break out your phones and get your last chance to hook up with us. So let's see. Ruyak did it last week. Solomon, take it.
Yeah, don't forget to follow us on the socials. We're on Twitter as We Like Drinking 1. That's the numeral 1. You can find us on Instagram. We're just We Like Drinking. We have a Facebook page, We Like Drinking, and we actually post from there sometimes. But really what we do most of all on Facebook is we love hanging out with all of our friends in our private group called the Tavern. It's just always such a good time. Not just every single week, like every single day, we've got just friends in there posting pictures of what they're doing, what they're drinking. And it's a good time is what I'm trying to say, right?
It's very fun.
Yeah. You can also search up the show on Apple Podcasts, leave a big fat 5-star review, and visit us at welikedrinking.com/pledge to find out more information about becoming a patron of the show, like Brian J. To keep us from shutting down. Apparently we're shutting down. That's what the show notes say. So we need your money. Give us your goddamn money is what I'm trying to say.
Excellent. Well done, Jeff. You can also find the show notes for this episode with all the links to the stories or mentions we had at welikedrinking.com/episodes. Or if you're on your phone, John, what do they do?
What? If you're on their phone, swipe right.
Well, hey, I have an issue with that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because in Apple Podcasts, you don't swipe right to look at the show notes. You scroll down and then you hit show notes.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah. I didn't want to say anything because you
Okay.
have a lot of fun swiping right. I think that's a different app, bro.
What's up, John?
Oh, I'm just flexing my thumb.
Yeah, really what I do, what it looks like, and this is totally visual, everybody, it looks like this.
Why, like Jeff Solomon? I know you used to work at a record store. I know you used to be in a band, and I believe you were the singer. But really, you probably should have played bass because everything you do, you look surprised at. Even swiping up on your phone, you look surprised.
You know, I was blessed with these gorgeous eyes that you just can't keep your eyes off of, and the eyebrows do a lot of talking. So some people think I'm surprised, but really, that's just how I talk. I talk with my eyebrows.
All right. Yeah, I think that's gonna end the show. I think that's gonna bring us to the point where I get to say, okay, panel. Let's take one last trip around this table. Get some final thoughts before we shut off the lights. John Riak.
Well, we're recording on Wednesday, January 9th. Whose birthday is it today?
Uh-oh.
He turned 75 today.
Please tell me it's Jimmy Page.
Yes, Jimmy Page turned 75 today. Motherfucker, why haven't you called me back yet?
I hate that more than life itself. Jeff Solomon.
Stop the music. Hey, mama said the way you move gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. A hard job with the take the thing with the thing and stuff and the stuff and things. Oh, yeah. Show me what the thing and stuff. Bring it back.
Okay. Thank you for listening to the show, listeners. We hope you subscribe. And with that, I'll say thanks again for joining us at the We Like Drinking podcast,
where you'll never drink alone.
Where's my 4 roses? I need a shot.
Ooh.